In the public interest, the Columbia Broadcasting System offers $5,000 reward for evidence or information leading to the arrest and conviction of the killer in this unsolved murder.
We ask you then to please listen carefully. On the morning of Wednesday, January 15th, 1947, the Los Angeles Police Department answers an incoming call.
Los Angeles Police Department Complaint Division.
Hello, I want to report a body.
Body, ma'am?
Yes, a nude body. It's lying there just off the sidewalk in the vacant lot.
Where is this lot, ma'am?
It's in the 3900 block on South Norton Avenue.
Thank you. We'll have somebody out there right away.
Nude body of a young woman is lying face up in the weeds. Her face and forehead have been brutally slashed and beaten. Body itself horribly mutilated. It has been cut completely in two. The unsolved murder of Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia.
The murder of Elizabeth Short shook the nation and sent the public and the press into a frenzy, obsessed with tracking all the moves of this so-called werewolf killer. Inspired by Elizabeth's dark hair and often dark clothes, as well as the newly released film The Blue Dahlia, the media came up with a moniker: the Black Dahlia. It's the tragic irony of a young girl who came to Hollywood to pursue success and fame as an actress on the silver screen, only to be immortalized and gain her fame through her gruesome death. As the months went on, women continued to vanish, only to be found stripped of their clothes and put on horrific display. But almost 80 years later, a video game would try to come up with an answer to all of it. This is where L.A. Noire comes in, an action-adventure game published by Rockstar in 2011. You play as World War II veteran Cole Phelps, trying to redeem himself from the horrors he committed during the war by working as a detective for the LAPD.
You fuck young boys, Valdez. Are you a madman?
And as you progress through the game, you eventually get promoted to the homicide desk. And it is here that you come face to face with a series of unsolved murders that all took place around the same time as the Black Dahlia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is L.A. Noire. Badge 1247. In real life, these women never got the justice they deserved, but L.A. Noire offers an answer to all of it. Albeit fictional, if you watch this whole video through, I think you'll come to realize that the game's depiction might not be that far off from the truth, with the way it portrays police corruption and the parasitic nature of the press, and how just making good headlines seem to matter more to the LAPD than true justice. Your first assigned case is called The Red Lipstick Murder, based on the real-life murder of Jean Nettie French. She was found stomped to death with blunt force trauma to her head, and most interestingly, red lipstick writing on her body. This is what it looked like. I'm not sure about the guidelines around this, so what you're seeing here are the real letters masked out from the actual photo, but I've just drawn in a body in the background. And right here it says, "Fuck you, BD." It's been heavily debated whether or not it says PD for Police Department or BD for Black Dahlia. Even the coroner at the time confirmed it says PD, but I, random YouTuber, disagree, and here's why. When you draw a B, you start with the upper shape like this, and then as you're about to continue outwards to begin the lower half of the B, you of course start from the middle going out, which would explain the thicker line in the middle. And as you go along, you come into contact with the belly button, which would explain the sudden break in the shape right here, until it continues back down and completes the B. If it does say BD, it points to the killer being some sort of copycat killer, saying, "Fuck you, Black Dahlia, you're nothing special. I can pull this off as well." If it does say PD, it might be the same killer saying, "Fuck you, police department." Regardless of what it means, it does point to a killer trying to create a specific narrative. So back to the in-game case. The Red Lipstick Murder. Jean Nettie's murder is portrayed through the murder of Celine Henry, who's struggling with alcoholism and her own marriage. You're teamed up with Rusty Galloway, this old cynical jackass with his own methods of investigation.
Rusty's razor.
How's that go?
You blame the guy that's banging her.
Ah, of course.
And honestly, with how impatient Rusty seemed with simply closing the case and how hesitant he seemed to investigate certain things further,
Not hauling myself up there. I want to wait here and have a quiet smoke. Think about hidden meetings.
I spent a good part of my playthrough convinced that this guy actually was the killer. I mean, the way... Okay, maybe not. L.A. Noire's gameplay loop essentially boils down to this. You arrive at the scene, you investigate everything with like super exaggerated hand movements. And the things you find either give you details about something pertaining to the crime, like torn off jewelry or rope marks on the body or feet that have been stomped, small feet that have been stomped on the victim's chest, or they're the victim's belonging, cluing you in about where you could go next to gather more information. In this particular case, Celine Henry happened to carry the most impractical lighter in the world. But once you finally solve the puzzle, it opens up, and the name La Bamba is engraved. And if you carry a lighter like this around, I'm pretty sure you're a regular at that place. At the crime scene so far, we've found footprints from size 8 men's shoes, blunt force trauma to the head, and lipstick writing on her body, as well as torn off jewelry. Alright, we gotta go to La Bamba. As we reach La Bamba, we approach the most logical person to talk to. The bartender, the guy who's there all night serving guests and listening into their stories. We explain Celine Henry's physical appearance, and the bartender quickly recognizes who we're talking about. Even Cole Phelps himself seems a bit surprised, as he was like, Celine Henry. Yeah, you're right, actually, it is Celine Henry.
Blonde hair, about 40 years of age.
You mean Celine Henry?
Yes.
But the bartender informs us that he's just a temporary bartender and we should talk to the owner, who might know Celine a bit better. We're told he's in the back and that we can't miss him. Oh, you're right, you really can't miss him. And this is when we meet the game's infamous interrogation system. You know, the whole X to doubt meme and all that jazz?
Explain that. You're lying. I know what the fuck you did, just tell me.
We talked to La Bamba for a while and we learned that Celine Henry has an alcohol problem, her marriage is falling apart. The bartender usually calls home to have her husband pick her up once she's had a few too many. This night, however, the husband didn't answer the phone. Celine Henry instead left the bar with some other guy. Mr. La Bamba, our guy, had the license plate number written down. So we call R&I to have him run the license plate.
Yeah, it's Cole Phelps, badge 1247, saying really cool detective stuff.
And in the meanwhile, we head over to Celine Henry's house to investigate further. When we arrive, we're met with a broken window and signs of a break-in. The house is empty and otherwise looks fairly normal, but there's missing jewelry from her jewelry boxes. And a note on the fridge, confirming all the allegations of alcoholism and the struggling marriage. Her husband had left a note with a new address that he's staying at until she sobers up. So as we're about to leave, you know, neighborhood CCTV is always watching, so she stands ready to spill some extra tea. We learned that her husband had stormed out after a loud fight the night before, and Celine Henry stayed home until about 10 p.m., after which she went to La Bamba already wasted.
Murdered? Oh my God. I'm afraid I need to go and sit down.
Using the address we found on the fridge, we carefully confront the now widowed husband.
You killed your fucking wife! You killed your wife!
Scavenge the guy's house, we find a pair of shoes, which are size 11s. Remember, the crime scene had size 8s. But we etch-a-sketch this hidden note left on a note block on his, which can only mean one thing. This guy was trying to have his wife killed by a hitman. Case closed. Case closed. What was that?
I was trying to have her committed.
Oh, come on, Rusty, just antagonize him. We need an arrest.
He was a lush and a tramp, and you just couldn't stand it anymore.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
So now you're gonna tell me you loved her? Ah, the DA goes all gooey over remorse, Jacob.
Fight breaks out, he punches Rusty in the face, he's thrown in a jail. But while we're there, we give R&I a call. And the license plate has come up with the name, Alonso Mendez. This has to be our guy, right? As always, we respect people's homes and we carefully enter this guy's home. We make ourselves at home and scavenge around as we normally do. And would you look at that? The most obvious incriminating evidence in the world. What do we have here? Size 8 shoes and a bloody tire iron. And flattened lipstick. Not sure. Unrefrigerated eggs. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. The guy comes home and is obviously startled, immediately runs off. This leads to this super action-packed chase, until we finally crash, collide, point our guns, and arrest the guy. The killer is caught, and the streets of 1940s Los Angeles are finally safe from the werewolf. And... what? A new day, a new woman. Found, put on display, naked, rope marks on her throat, and stomped to death. This is the murder of Deirdre Mahler, inspired by the murder of Dorothy Montgomery. DM? You see, the game does this a lot. In real life, Dorothy Montgomery was found under a pepper tree, just like in the game. In her purse, we find out that her name is Deirdre Mahler and we get an address. Head over to her house, and only her young daughter is home, waiting for her mom. We, of course, comfort her to the best of our ability.
Your mother is dead.
We look around the house, inspect all the important little details we might not want to miss, oranges, carrots, and lemons or whatever. But this time, size 8 shoes are actually found. Talking to the daughter for a while, we learned that Deirdre had recently got a golden butterfly piece of jewelry from her husband as an apology gift after one of his numerous violent episodes. And L.A. Noire used this face scan technology, which was supposed to be an aid in determining whether or not the suspect was lying. I'm not saying the daughter did anything, but what is this acting, man? Looks like crocodile tears to me, Rusty. Antagonized. Deirdre Mahler's husband, Hugo Mahler, does come home. Understandably, he's pretty pissed off, because why is his daughter crying in the living room and there's like 2 strange men there? But the first thing he says is, "Found?"
Found?
Which is like the most suspicious thing you could do. What do you mean found, Hugo? That news thing where the guy is caught on live television. Like,
Up there.
howdy.
Had you heard it? Had you seen anything there?
You see, the night of Deirdre's disappearance, she was supposed to pick up their daughter from a high school dance, but she never showed. The daughter tried calling home, but no one answered. Where was Hugo? Why was he not at home the night of his wife's death?
Okay, I went out for a while. I was driving around. It's my way of relaxing.
We'll see about that later, okay? We don't place the guy under arrest right away because we just don't have enough to go on, and the daughter has just lost her mom, and the dad's pretty much all she has right now. So we leave. We're called over by neighborhood CCTV. I love those women. The neighbor remembers hearing loud fights, and also that Hugo had been putting something in an incinerator. Being the genius that Hugo is, he decides to have a barbecue while 2 detectives are right across the street. What's on the menu? May I interest you in some medium rare blood-soaked size 8 men's shoes? Oh my god, what are you thinking, Hugo? If Hugo wasn't suspicious already, he's definitely a suspect now. So he's brought back to the station for interrogation. In the meantime, we get a call. Deirdre Mahler's car has been found parked at the daughter's high school. When we arrive at the school, we find Deirdre's car, but we also find the biggest creep in the galaxy.
Name's Eli Rooney.
What are you doing around here?
I like to keep an eye on the children.
Strictly paternal, is it?
Eli Rooney. Mr. likes him a little younger. When asked if he had anything to do with the disappearance of Deirdre, he responded this.
The woman, you say? I like him a little younger than that.
He also happened to carry a golden butterfly, Deirdre's golden butterfly. We opened the trunk of her car, and once again, the most obvious, horrifying evidence is just laid out in front of us. A green coverall with the initials H.M., Hugo Mahler, and a bloody tire iron, and a bloody rope. Before we go any further, we go to the morgue to investigate Deirdre's body. While there, we compare different types of rope to the marks found on her throat. We find out that the triple braid is a match, and while we're doing this, the coroner randomly says
they're sometimes used as bell ropes in churches.
He doesn't really say anything else, and the game doesn't really tell us why we're suddenly given this information. But this tiny detail will become a lot more important very soon. We head back to the station to do this cross-interrogation of both Hugo Mahler and Mr. Likes him a little younger. When asked about the bloody shoes, Hugo says that it's
rabbit's blood. A guy at work brought them in and I helped him skin them.
When asked about why the bloody coveralls were found in Deirdre's trunk,
they can't be mine.
Solid one, Hugo.
Why, Hugo? Because if they were yours, they'd be in the incinerator too?
we kind of swap between them. We head over to Eli Rooney. When asked about what he did for a living, he says he worked for Hennessy Marine and that the work uniform was a green coverall with the initials H and M. I want to retire. At this point in the investigation, you can actually choose to accuse either Hugo Mahler or Eli Rooney of the murder. But be warned, your Captain James Donnelly really wants to catch the Eli Rooney guy. And this case is the only case in the game where you actually get a lower score at the end of it if you charge Hugo. They just wanted to get Eli Rooney off the streets, and now they finally had something to pin on him. And in the playthrough I did for this video, I charged Eli as well. Not because I think he's guilty of Deidre Mahler's death. The guy just needs to be taken off the streets. Come on, man, let's be honest. Do not worry, this is not supposed to be a narrated playthrough of L.A. Noire. I just wanted to go through these two cases in great detail, and then I'll kind of rush through the other cases. Hugo's fate has yet to be decided, and the killer is still out there. So while we... The murder of Antonia Maldonado, named the Silk Stocking Murder, based on the real-life murder of Rosenda Mondragon. Maybe it's pronounced Mondragon. Very cool name regardless. She was found in real life, strangled by her own silk stocking, just like in the game. Her death is portrayed through Antonia Maldonado. Killer has left a literal trail of blood, leading all the way up to the rooftops, overlooking some vegetable store. Her last whereabouts were at a bar.
You worked the bar last night?
Yeah, me and a temp guy from the agency.
Did you have a woman in here last night? 21 years old, Hispanic, drinking heavily?
We have a lot of ladies like that in here. But yeah, I know who you mean. Antonia Maldonado. Well, what did she do?
She was murdered last night.
Oh, shit.
We go to Antonia's apartment, and once again, it's been broken into. Outside is this iron fence picket that we inspect and write down in our journal, but nothing more happens. The blood led to her purse, overlooking this vegetable store. So we head down there and talk to the guy.
Clem Feeney, what can I do for you?
So what do we have here? A bloody scalpel, Antonia's jewelry. Hey, Clem Feeney, oh my god, not again. A dramatic chase ensues, and the guy is caught and thrown into jail. Then, the LAPD receives a letter. And this is where it all comes crashing down. This is the moment we realize that we might have sent a bunch of completely innocent men to the gas chambers. The police department receives these cryptic letters constructed from newspaper cutouts, and along with them some excerpts from a book called Prometheus Unbound, where the killer compares himself to the titan Prometheus, who defied the gods. Luckily, Rusty Galloway isn't alone in this case, and
Tell me what the fuck is going on?
Golden Boy Phelps is here as well.
In a public square?
By reading through the first excerpt, Cole Phelps realizes that this isn't just some random rage bait. The killer is actively trying to help us, which is kind of sad, but at this point it's all that we have. There are actually clues as to where we should go next. The first one tells us that our next clue is in the fountain in Pershing Square. So we arrive at Pershing Square, we arrive at the fountain, and there's something shiny on top. How this climb is physically possible, I don't know. You get to the top, and lo and behold, it is the social security number of none other than Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia herself. In real life, the killer did actually send the police department a bunch of Elizabeth's personal belongings, along with her social security. There's another excerpt from Prometheus Unbound. And from here, we're sent on this uncharted Indiana Jones-style scavenger hunt around town, where each location contains a personal item from one of the many victims in the homicide cases, along with another excerpt, leading us to a new location. And this goes on, and it's becoming clear as day that this is the guy behind every single homicide case. This is our werewolf, until we reach the final location. The killer's base of operations, an old abandoned church. And here we are, about to come face to face with the man behind the Black Dahlia and all the other horrible murders. It's... wait a minute, what the fuck? The bartender? The temporary bartender from the very first case. Did you notice something as we were approaching the church? You see that? That's a missing piece of the fence. And not just any fence, it's the same broken fence picket found outside the broken window of Maldonado's apartment. And remember when the coroner said that the rope is commonly used in church bells? Yeah, it's from here. Remember how we just came in, gave a quick description of the victim, we hardly even knew her name. And he's like, oh, Celine Henry! In all of the cases, there had been signs of break-ins in almost all of them. Meaning that this guy had been in their homes either stealing stuff for fun or planting evidence. This confrontation eventually leads to a chase down through the church's catacombs until you finally, fatally shoot him. The werewolf is gone. Further down, you discover his base of operations. There's the tools he used, a bloody tub there where he would drain the blood, drawings of human anatomy. The case is closed, and we finally have our guy. But then, Captain James Donnelly appears, and this happens.
Where's the press, Cap? I think Phelps and I should get a medal for this. This has got to be the case of the year, right? The case of the century when you think about it.
You finished?
Yes, Skipper.
Good. Because there won't be any press briefings or commendations.
What are you talking about? We got the werewolf, the guy who killed the Dahlia, killed all the other broads.
You got no one. Mason was a ghost.
Can you at least tell us why, Captain?
Mason is the half-brother of one of the most highly elected officials in this country.
How high?
Beyond the moon for mere mortals like us, Rusty. There'll be no more mention of him. The city owes you both, but there'll be no mileage in ever bringing this up again.
What's going to happen to the suspects in the cases, Captain? I won't be a part of that.
A bit of missing evidence at the grand jury. A procedural error here, a mistake there. They'll all be quietly let go. The DA knows how we'll have to play it.
That's it?
I'm afraid it is. And I have some news for you, Phelps. No more rooting around in the entrails of cadavers and corpses for you. The head of Vice has asked the chief for you. I'm reluctant to see you go to the glory boards of advice, but my hands are tied. Go home to that lovely wife of yours and celebrate your promotion.
You see, Garrett Mason wasn't just some shit stain from the agency, some creep working odd jobs. He was the half-brother of a powerful politician. Revealing that this guy was the Black Dahlia killer would cause a PR scandal. It would show that the LAPD had spent months sending completely innocent men to their deaths. Maybe not Eli Rooney, but so the truth is suppressed, and Cole Phelps is promoted to the Vice desk as a reward for his silence, allowing you to see the truth but denying you of the victory. And this brings us out of the game and back into the reality, the harsh reality of 1947. In real life, there was no Cole Phelps to descend into some church catacombs and have an epic standoff with the werewolf. The murder of Elizabeth Short remained a bleeding open wound. Despite never-ending investigations for months, no definitive suspect was ever caught. And that's because the real-life 1947 LAPD suffered from the exact same institutional rot portrayed in-game. A system crippled by internal corruption, vice, bribery, and political backscratching. Under Chief Clemens Brooks Horrell and earlier administrations, the department was deeply entangled with the so-called combination, which was the city's organized crime syndicate. The department's focus was more on just looking good for the newspapers. When the Black Dahlia happened, the LAPD didn't run some clean, modern investigation. It was a frantic PR campaign. And with extreme pressure from journalists and newspaper, the detectives felt this immense pressure to just catch a culprit, any culprit. And just like Captain Donnelly in game pushes you to frame the local outcasts, the real LAPD rounded up hundreds of transient men, eccentric artists, and marginalized individuals, simply to catch a culprit, get a suspect, keep the press at bay. And before I go on, I'm not saying that the Black Dahlia case is unsolved because of incompetent police work. There were over 750 investigators involved in the case. The investigation was, however, ruined by the parasitic nature of the press at the time. Journalists would prioritize being first at the scene over letting police do their actual job. They would trample the crime scene, move evidence around, exhaust the suspects by interrogating them before the police could even get to them, and they would also publish such hyper-detailed information about the crime scenes, leading to hundreds of attention-seeking lowlives giving false confessions to the police, pretending to be the werewolf, essentially exhausting all the police resources with dead ends. And the evil of the journalists at the time truly knew no bounds, because one day Elizabeth Short's mother receives a phone call from a man who claims her daughter has won a beauty contest and he would like some more information about Elizabeth's life and what she was like. After the mother proudly describes her beautiful daughter, the man reveals that the only reason he's calling is because her daughter is dead. That's how she learned about her daughter's death. So the real Black Dahlia killer didn't need to be some complex mastermind to get away with this. He or she could simply just sit still and watch as the city tears itself apart. And while we're on the topic of Black Dahlia, I feel like I can't talk about Black Dahlia without at least mentioning George Hodel. George Hodel was a wealthy physician in Los Angeles at the time. He would treat the elites, and he lived in a house which was based on a Mayan temple. He would frequently throw orgies and was also accused of raping his own daughter. I mean, this guy is the 1940s Jeffrey Epstein. My theory then is that Elizabeth Short was somehow tangled into this twisted network, but was killed when she wanted to expose them. I believe that this killing and a lot of the other ones could have been this network's way of showing what they can get away with, like a power display, putting these women out on display and showing this is what happens when you try to go against us. Nobody will find out who did it, no justice will ever be served. You see, as humans, we despise open loops. We're biologically wired to crave endings and structure, and that is why cases like the Black Dahlia can leave us with this lingering sense of existential dread, knowing that these monsters can commit such heinous acts and just simply vanish into history, completely unpunished. And that's why, nearly 80 years later, a video game like L.A. Noire exists. And it's not the first time a storyteller has stepped in to rewrite history or give some closure to some unanswered case. There have been dozens of books and movies and games and short stories about the Black Dahlia. Even Rockstar themselves couldn't let the case completely go. They reintroduced the entire case as a solvable puzzle in GTA 5. We keep creating these stories over and over to give ourselves comfort and closure, like Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where Sharon Tate instead gets to have a happy ending and the life she deserved. Because, you know, we want happy endings and we hate open loops. At the risk of sounding super cheesy and cringe, L.A. Noire isn't just some cool detective game. It's an act of digital catharsis. The developers built this highly detailed version of 1947 Los Angeles, where the clues actually lead somewhere this time, where you can use a broken fence picket and church bell rope and a casual conversation with a bartender to finally track the monster back to his lair. But the game doesn't give us a happy ending. Cole Phelps is ultimately crushed by the very corruption he tried to defeat. Literally. But it gives us something far more valuable to the human psyche. Albeit fictional, it provides an answer and closes the loop. The killer actually was caught this time, but to the public it will forever remain a mystery. And who's to say this isn't exactly what happened in real life as well?